Hello, I'm Rover, and you're about to listen to a chapter of the audio version of my book, The Moongazers, a pirate queer adventure story. This is a 30-chapter series. Are you enjoying this project, and would you like to support me? You can do that by becoming a patron or buy me a coffee through Buy Me a Coffee. Enjoy! Chapter 11. Frey. The next day, I escort the captain to the small meeting room, where she sinks into her bed. Before we left the platform, there had been a sea of tears, mostly Ardy's. Jude seemed quite fresh, considering the amount of alcohol she had downed the night before. That is to say, in spite of her panting and several "are we there yet," she managed to climb down without falling into the sea. The water feels less calm than it had been these past few days. There's a strong wind, and it takes a great effort to row the small boat back to the Wyckoff. Large packs of grey clouds loom over us. Before we left, I asked Ardy to deliver the letter to the bar me and Ray had agreed to use as our meeting point, in case something went wrong. He said he couldn't guarantee anything, but when Jude insisted, he nodded. I had stayed up the entire night while Jude and Ardy were snoring and Kathy lay curled up in a corner. You never know who might show up, who gets curious in places like these when it gets dark. It gave me some time to think. Jude had been at sea all her life, and she'd lost her parents there. She knows what it's like to be alone. And she carries so much responsibility. Every day, navigating us through the waves. Before we left, we had to transfer the oil to Ardy's ship. It took a lot of maneuvering because it had proven impossible to carry the full jerrycans to the platform. So we moved the ships alongside each other and used all the rope, strength, and coordination we could muster to move the oil from one ship to the other. Everyone had expected we would get this done the same evening. But after a couple of hours, Deva concluded we wouldn't be coming back that night. The crew had walked around all dressed up for 24 hours, she said with a smile. As I arrive with Jude to her quarters, I place a large bottle of water next to her. I look at her with piercing eyes and consider getting angry. But from Deva, I learned that asking questions and trying to understand is much more helpful than acting on assumptions. Why did you decide to get drunk instead of sticking to the mission, Jude? I ask, even if I'd rather had thrown her overboard right there. I didn't get angry often, but where Jude's concerned, it seems like my temper has gotten shorter. It has been harder to stay patient since I arrived on this ship. Is this the person I become when things don't go the way I want? She looks at me and moans while she gets into bed. Ugh, no. I'm not going to get a lecture from you now, am I? What if something had happened? I start to say, irritated. How many people would I have to kill to keep you safe? What if something went wrong on the ship? We couldn't have budged because you were under the table. You certainly do have a dramatic bend, she said, teasing while tugging at the blankets. I'll be so glad to get off this ship and not have to be on alert all the time, she says with a sigh. She looks up at the ceiling and then at me. What would you do, Frey, if you had the chance to spend one more night with someone you love? I might never see him again. And nothing happened anyway. Nothing ever happens, she continues sarcastically. There's no one here. You're in the safest place on earth. Suddenly, the door swings open violently and Layla runs in. Captain, there's an unknown ship headed right for the platform. We looked it up in our logs, but we don't recognize it as a comrade. We have to get lost now, Jude says immediately and jumps out of bed. A short clip later, we're standing in a circle on deck with several facilitators. The atmosphere is tense as the ship keeps surging closer. Ardy's warning about the powerful men in the north claiming dominion over the sea flashes through my mind. Jude has splashed some seawater from a barrel on her face to wake up. What's the plan? She asks me and Deva. The entire group looks at us expectantly. We might have one, I say, grinning. Deva and I had worked out several plans. We had thought hard about how to attack a ship and defend ours. The best you could do was to think about strategies from the old days. We begin to give directions. Our ship is heavy and not very agile. Our binoculars revealed that the small ship coming from us is full of people. It's a yacht that looks like it's made of polyester instead of iron or wood, and it has a working engine. Ardy's ship has already departed in another direction, and the yacht doesn't seem interested in them. It's coming for us with a speed that we can't match. It's only a matter of time before it overtakes us. Jude sets course for the unruly sea and the cloudy sky. The crew is nervous. Never before has the Wiccas come so close to an enemy ship. The yacht is slowing down, but still inches closer. Then they switch off the engine. Lower your sails and surrender. We are commandeering this boat. We hear a loud voice booming from the yacht. Jude walks towards the deck and puts on a low voice. Why would we do that? She shouts in reply. All the ships in this part of the sea belong to Heros. He owns this area. The man shouts back. Unbelievable is all I can think. People are seriously taking possession of land and sea? The sea is no one's. We have no one to surrender to, Jude replies with a grin on her face. The adrenaline has clearly prevailed over her hangover. She stands up straight and proud, her hair twirling in the wind. But I also see the bags under her eyes. How long can she keep this up? There's a moment of silence from across the water, as if they hadn't considered that resistance was an option. Most of the Wiccas crew members are staying out of sight, so they have to guess how many we are. We'll come aboard and take over, the man shouts. If you surrender now, we'll spare you. Through my binoculars, I can see several of the men on board, taking guns from a case. Whether they work is another matter. Luckily, we're not yet within shooting range. I hurry across the deck towards Jude and indicate that she should seek cover. Below, I hear quick footsteps and the rolling of large wheels. We need 2 more minutes, and then they'll be within our reach. We have about 3 shots to get it right. Their ship is fast and agile. If we don't manage to hit them quick, this will end in a hand-to-hand combat. And I know exactly how skilled the Wiccas crew are. Not skilled enough. What if I told you that's a really bad idea? Jude shouts at the still approaching boat. It starts raining softly. The ships are now almost side by side. A few more meters, and the yacht will be exactly within our reach. I see men on the deck preparing to breach our ship. There's no response from the yacht. Jude looks at me, and I nod. I run towards the staircase leading to the hold and yell from the top of my lungs. Fire! There is a loud roar. It takes a while for the men to realize that they're under cannon fire. They're surprised and momentarily stunned by the noise and smoke. The cannon the Wiccas is carrying is a remnant from a distant past. Jude had kept it there because she liked the look of it. She'd never had the intention of actually using it. Looking through my binoculars, I see them begin to rush about in panic. Their polyester boat would need only 1 hit from a cannon like ours to be beyond repair. They fire some shots at us with their handguns, unsuccessfully. Jude has taken cover at the helm and shouts, "Ready for another round?" Suddenly, a bolt of lightning cracks open the grey sky behind us, illuminating the smirk of determination on her face. "You damn witch," we hear over thunderous clouds. "That was our first warning," Jude shouts back. In a few leaps, I end up next to Jude. Let's take another shot. We have to get rid of this ship, I say. We could also try and outsail them, Jude replies, still grinning widely. The wind is increasing in force. Her hands are on the helm, her boots firmly on the deck. If we don't sink this boat, it can return to its port and come for us with an entire fleet backing it up, I tell her. So what if they make it to a port, Frey? In this weather, they won't come back. Why bother sinking them? She asks carelessly. Because you're turning yourself into a target, Jude. They're a lot faster than we are, and they just have to maintain a slightly wider distance to stay out of our firing range. We only have a few cannonballs, and we're in a good position now. We don't want to keep them following us for days. With this ship, we'll always be a target, Frey. But I leave it up to you to decide. I have other things to worry about. She points at the menacing dark sky above us. Kathy, Layla, and Deva arrive behind us, and we sit down for a quick round of deliberation. We can't afford having this yacht pursue us, and even if they sail off somewhere else, they'll know the Wyckoff and its captain are out there. If that information finds its way into the world, we'll be in serious danger. We have to get rid of them, Layla says. Her dark hair is plastered to her face. We're hunched on the floor, knees touching each other, hands pressed hard against the wood of the deck. We weigh our options in silence. The ship could be smart and returned to the drilling platform to sit out the storm, but there's nothing I want more than to try out that cannon one more time. They could swim to the platform, Kathy says. Deva and I look at each other. I see my feelings reflected in her. It's time to shake off these people and get the hell out of here. We nod at each other and shout simultaneously, "Fire!" And this time, it's a hit. The cannonball lands squarely on the ship's bow, and through my binoculars, I observe the ensuing panic. The roar of the cannon is so loud it leaves my ears ringing, and the stink of the gunpowder fills the air. Jude is already turning the Wyckoff around, and we're sailing away from the drilling platform and the coast. Our course is set for the spot on the horizon, where the weather looks a little less ominous, hoping to escape the raging weather. But it's too late. We may have escaped the dangers of the civilized world, but the weather has changed definitely. The water is turbulent, and regretfully my nausea has returned. The past few weeks have been rather merciful, meekly grey and drizzly, with a few rays of sun here and there. But now fall has set in, and the storm season has arrived. Jude, still hungover, stands at the helm. I can't imagine what the roaring of the cannons has done to her head. I'm standing next to her, trying all I can do to not cover our surroundings in vomit, while briefing her on the situation below deck. The people who operated the cannon were unhurt, though some still have ringing in their ears. Most of the crew concurred with the decision to sink the yacht. Some thought it was cruel, and that there is a small debate going on about the ethics of our act. Some of you make such a fuss about things. Sometimes you just have to take decisions that are not fun in order to survive, I sighed to Jude. If it's us or them, it's an easy choice for me. This endless discussion, it happened, it's over. Why can't they let it go? I like venting a little to her. We need those voices too, Frey. Sure, everybody does whatever it takes to survive, but we should also still be worthy of our survival. If we keep destroying things for the sake of me, myself, and I, won't we end up on the same track that led us to the climate catastrophe? Endless wars and the great change? I look at her, taken aback. You're starting with that now too? You sound just like Deva. I stand up a little straighter and pull my shoulders back and declare theatrically, we are the future. The rule of capitalism will only come to an end if we unlearn or internalize patriarchal individualism. Jude laughs at me and peers at the racing waves. You can mock us, but many of us think that way. Maybe it would be good to find out for yourself what your stance is on these things. What are you doing, Frey, to create the world we want to see for the generations after us? I don't get a lot of time to think about that, because I feel the change in the weather. It's becoming more serious, more menacing. The wind is picking up and a great wave is rolling towards us. Hold on, Frey, I hear the captain say as we climb the wave. I don't like this one bit. I can barely hold myself together. Do you know what you're doing? I burst out, my stomach getting more queasy by the second. Well, I'm gonna get us out of this mess as quickly as we can, she shouts over the tumultuous sea. She starts shouting commands over the deck. Get down below deck, Frey. Don't get in the way of anyone at work and tell the others to do the same. Half balancing, half falling, and grabbing hold on whatever I can, I make my way down. In the hold below, everyone is busy tying stuff up, and I can hear the hurried footsteps of people securing things down in the tech room as well. Deva, Kathy, and I sit down together, while Layla works on the deck along with some others. What kind of storm can this ship handle? Kathy asks out loud. It's the question we're all wondering. Over the past weeks, I had lost some of my fear of the sea, but now I'm sweating out of every pore. My stomach continues turning, and I wish I could press the fast forward button and skip this chapter. I'm sitting in a corner, my arms wrapped around my legs. Last time I was this desperately scared, we had to leave the ship. We had to run to lifeboats. I was afraid, but I had something to do, a place to arrive to. Now it's a matter of counting down the hours and hoping. Deva murmurs something like a prayer while thunder and lightning cross the sky. The thick outburst tenses me. Kathy cuddles up to me, and considering these might be our last hours on this planet, I give in and wrap my arm around her. Her wispy hair under my chin, her warmth against mine. But the moment doesn't last long. I have to jump up and find a bucket to throw up in again. This time, I'm not the only one who can't keep down their food. The hold begins to stink of sweat and vomit. But I don't think about the smell and sounds of the crew. My thoughts are with Jude, who's standing at the helm. During a short moment of reprieve, I catch a glimpse of Layla and some other deck crew members wearing harnesses, presumably so they won't be tossed overboard. The rest of us stay in the hold and wait. I shiver. If someone would just hit me hard on the head, I wouldn't have to live through this part consciously. I could wake up again at some point, or I wouldn't. It would all be the same to me, as long as this moment ends. Perhaps it is because I feel near death that Jude's question crosses my mind. What would I like to leave for the generations after us? I've never thought about what I want to pass on. I have had my focus on Tyra, protecting Ray, staying alive. Everything for the present. If I die now, what would I have left behind? I may have saved Mel's Haven from the asshole that was Eros Mel, but was that enough? I feel Kathy shift uneasily next to me, rubbing my back as comfort. It's gotten less, she says suddenly. I doubt it. Less what? Less high waves? Less wind? Is Kathy on a different ship than the rest of us? She gets up and does all she can do to maintain her balance, despite the wild heaving. She begins, slowly to wobble her way to the stairs in the dark. "What are you doing?" I ask her. "I'm done sitting around doing nothing. I want to do something. Maybe I can help." I look at her annoyed. "Don't you go and get in people's way, Kathy," Deva shouts at her. "We can sing a song or play a game." But Kathy is having a moment of courage, which I've seen her have before. She could be scared 1 minute, but then, suddenly, she flips a switch and attacks a man on a cruise ship. There was no stopping her. In spite of the dark, I sense the determination in her posture as she makes her way to the stairs. Deva shouts after her that she shouldn't do anything stupid, and if she decides to do so anyway, she should fasten herself to the ship. She disappears into the storm. It's in this moment of us losing sight of Kathy that the ship suddenly lurches sideways. I almost roll across the whole floor towards the back of the ship. Above the roaring sea and waves, I make out a screech. "Person overboard!" My breath catches. The blood that's still running through my veins freezes. I can't hear anything anymore, and I get up. Deva tries to grab my feet, but I'm too quick, despite my illness, and I manage to sprint through the hold as well as I can, towards the stairs that Kathy used a moment before. I'll bring Kathy back, even if I have to jump after her. The sea has taken enough people from me. Sea foam splashes my face as my feet find their way up above the hedge. Around me, I see crew members scurrying around, throwing a barrel overboard. Then a lifebuoy, tied to an orange rope. Suddenly, Layla is next to me, almost pushing me down the stairs. "No," she screams. And before I know it, I feel arms around my legs. My body touches the wet wood below the hatch. A person has thrown herself at me, securing me. Deva. I recognize her smell. For a moment, my body wrestles with hers, symbolically. I already know that there's nothing I can do, nothing I can change. So we lie down, quietly. Bodies heaving with the waves. "There's nothing you can do, Frey. Don't put yourself at risk." Deva shouts over the howling wind. I turn inward and listen for any sound indicating that Kathy has been found. But the shouting of the crew, the footsteps, nothing tells me that Kathy is being hauled from the depths. With every moment that ticks away, my certainty grows that she'll never walk on the Wyckoff again.
I'm coming to seek you out, following paths that people stop taking, old life ways that tend to be forsaken, giving my mind time, giving my eyes time, taking time. Darkness, you grow when we dim the lights. Electricity dies. What would you show? Open the sky up and gaze upon the stars, singing in the dark, connecting from the heart.
Darkness,
Guide me
you
through
grow
what the night can be like.
when we dim the lights.
Stillness inside